We welcome you to our weekly one-on-one with head coach Nick Sirianni, presented by Wawa, and Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. Hi, Coach.
Dave.
How are you? Look, Sunday I'm going to take a positive approach here. You had a lot of things that went well, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. You came out in a rhythm, Jalen playing well, good balance, explosiveness. Are there things that you use from that game offensively that you think you can apply moving forward as you kind of keep finding your way and figuring out what this football team can do?
Of course, yeah. You're figuring out as you go who you are, and because you get that in practice, you get that in the preseason, but there's still things to learn when you're starting to play different styles of defenses. So you want to repeat those things of what are working as much as you possibly can, if it fits against the defense that's being called against you. So, you always think players first, and then you're starting to feel like, okay, players, and then how many times have we run this? Let's get more reps at this because we're pretty good at this. So that's kind of our thought process, and as we find out more and more about who we are and how we operate on offense.
So with that 4 games in, you figure out the personalities. Do you think there's a personality to this offense based on the personnel that you know to this point?
Yeah, I think it always starts up front, and that's our personality. It starts up front. Whether you look at it fortunately or unfortunately, that you had a lot of guys that have played, and we trust a lot of guys up front. And so, the personality of your team, it always starts on the offense and defensive lines. It's no different here. So we lean on the personality of those offensive linemen, and I think that with the guys that we have led by Jason Kelsey, that's a good place to lean.
More on that offensive line in just a moment. Coach, you're also using the rookie class a lot. DeVonta's playing a lot. Landon's playing a bunch. Kenny, Milton. You're getting a bunch of contributions, a lot of reps from these kids. How do you feel about that? How have they held up early in the season?
Yeah, obviously a tribute to our scouting department, Howie and his team, that we scouted the right guys and were able to use these guys, and that's what that's what you want. You want to be able to bring guys in and play them. That's why you drafted them in the first place. So really excited about the opportunities they're getting and how they're taking advantage of those opportunities.
With DeVonta, from day one to now, can you kind of speak specifically to where he's improved the most? He had this first 100-yard plus game on Sunday. Good progress there. What's he done so well over the weeks here?
I think he's releasing off the football better and better each week versus the different coverages that he's getting. And then also just him at the top of the route. He's really good with his hands at the top of the route, getting the DB's hands off of him, and then just being quick in and out of the break. So I've seen just improvement, just those couple things, because that's where it's different. Offense, that's where the college game is different than the pro game. You really do have to be efficient at the line of scrimmage, and you got to be efficient at the top of the route. We knew he had that talent in him, and he's just continued to improve that talent each week.
Does the NFL want to muscle DeVonta Smith more than they could in college? Is that kind of just breaking it down to the basics?
Well, in college, they actually, you always want to release clean off the line of scrimmage. This is something that we preach and we coach. In college, they're allowed to put their hands on them longer down the field. So, but so you got that time where they're allowed to put your hands on you. You got to win at that part with your quickness and your speed, and that's what we're seeing DeVonta do.
With Landon, he's 4 weeks in. He's already played 2 positions. He's didn't have training camp to get those reps in. What have you seen from Landon, who on Sunday went from right side to left side?
Just improvement. He's just gotten better at the little things each week. When you get put in there in a situation, an unexpected situation, you got to come out and you got to be ready to go mentally, and so what I've seen is just him take those strides mentally and physically of being able to react to the things that the defensive lines are doing. So I've just seen improvement each week from Landon.
I wanted to circle back to the offensive line. You find out only a couple of hours before the game against the Chiefs that you're going to have to shuffle the offensive line, and they went out and played a good football game. How in the world did that happen? How do you explain that? I
think just a tribute to the guys first. They went out. There's a lot of people that should have credit for this, and the first people that should have credit are the guys that went out and did the job and played their tails off. Howie and his department are building good depth there. We know it's won and lost in the offensive line, and you ride and die with those groups. So Howie's done a good job of building depth there in those positions, and then just Stout and Roy of just coaching them up and getting them ready, obviously technique-wise, but making sure that those guys are ready to play multiple positions. That's not an easy thing to do. A lot of them were cross-trained. A lot of them were ready to play multiple positions, and we needed them to go and do it, and they did. So, Jack Driscoll, went from right guard to right tackle. That was pretty impressive. And so he did a good job, and all those guys, Nate did a good job. They stepped in nicely.
After Jack Driscoll having not practiced really for other than a few days there, really did a good job. I want to talk about the red zone because it's getting a lot of attention. You went 3 of 6 against the Chiefs. Prior to that, you had been 5 of 6 in the red zone. Overall, you ranked 10th in the NFL in red zone offensive efficiency. And I wonder, do you think the criticism is fair of the red zone performance, or are you critical even more so than people on the outside?
Yeah, I'm pretty critical of myself. I like to drag myself through the mud after things happen. We needed to score touchdowns against a Chiefs team that we knew could score. And so 3 of 6 is unacceptable down there. So, there's what contributes to that. First of all, it starts with me and the plays that I call. I got to put the guys in better positions to succeed. Then you have execution. There's some execution parts of it where you have a play here, or you have a play there that you like, and there wasn't an execution of it at some level at some spot. And then we got to play by the rules, right? I mean, you had a couple of touchdowns wiped off the board, and the referees have a hard job, just like we have a hard job as coaches, and the players have a hard job. So, never pointing a finger there. We just got to play by the rules and know what the rules are and be better at that. So, we're 3 of 6 against it. Was not going to cut it against the Chiefs, and so the criticism is fair, and I accept the responsibility of that criticism, and we're going to work like crazy to get better at it.
Quarterback Jalen Hurts, you said he played the best game that you have seen him play. Is there a play that you can kind of take us through that really stood out? And what was it about that play that really stood out to Jalen, and kind of take us through the play of what impressed you so much?
I'm always looking for consistency. The consistency of it. He dropped back the pass 48 times, and he was consistently going to the right place with the football. And he was consistently, because I think anybody can come out and make a splash play. But can you do that over? And that's what this league's about. Can you do it week in, week out? Can you do it over and over again within the game? And that's what was impressive to me, was what Jalen did consistently throughout the game. He made good decisions with the football. He made good, accurate throws over and over and over again. He made some plays with his feet when he needed to make a play with his feet. There's one play I just think about in the red zone that he had a little dip down to Miles that went for 5 yards, but that's good football to me, that he took what the defense gave him, made an accurate throw, and we played the next play. So, I just like the consistency of what he did and how he did it.
With regards to the defense, Nick, the last couple of weeks, things have not gone your way. So what approach does the coaching staff take to get things back on track to where you want them?
Yeah, our first job is to put players in position to succeed and put them in position to be the best that they can be. So, we got to go back to the drawing board on that and get the guys in position to make plays. Obviously, we know we got to execute as players, but it starts there with the coaching of us getting them in position to make the plays that they can make. The other thing is, we played 2 good offenses. Now, that's never an excuse, because you got to be able to stop good offenses. But those are 2 good quarterbacks we've played, 2 good offenses that we've played. So, a combination of a couple things. But, let's not forget the first 2 games that the defense had, right, against San Francisco and against Atlanta, where, they looked unstoppable. And so, we're looking to get back to where we were those first 2 weeks, and put these last 2 weeks behind us, but learn from these last 2 weeks and get better from them.
This Sunday, it's at Carolina. Now, this is a defense that had allowed 45 yards rushing per game through 3 games, and then Dallas churns out 245. They had led the league in quarterback sacks. They didn't get a sack. So, Nick, which is the real Carolina defense? The one from the first 3 weeks with 3 wins, or the one on Sunday that lost to Dallas?
We got to go out there and expect their best. And we know they're a talented defense. We know they're a well-coached defense. We know they're a well-coached team. And so we're going out there and we're expecting their best.
Nick Sirianni, our weekly one-on-one presented by Wawa. Thanks very much. Good luck against the Panthers.
Thanks, Dave.